leaking top insider stock trades every day until they stop us. It's the first weekend of the NFL season, but the Colts suck, so not very exciting for me. But we do have some exciting insider trades to look at this week. And remember, 90% of insider trades, totally useless. We're only looking for those high signal, unscheduled, unusual insider trades that can lead to outperformance. An example of this would be Syntex Technologies, which we shared in the August 28th video, which was last Thursday. We had found 8 insiders buying the stock since April 30th, including a handful of insiders that had just bought the stock that week. The chief investment officer was one of these, and they bought over $185,000 of the stock, which was 10x larger than any of their previous purchases and increased their holdings by over 300%. Now, the stock was down over 98% in the last 2 years, but they had recently released a press release saying that they were undergoing some strategic reviews and trying to turn things around, basically. Also, there had been no insider buying until we saw these 8 purchases in April, even though the stock had been down for 2 years, like I mentioned. Well, just a few days later, they released positive results from one of their studies, and the stock shot up over 50%. Now, we don't always find stocks that go up 50% in 5 days, but a good example of what we can find when you look for those high signal insider trades. Speaking of high signal insider trades, let's look at the top trades from last week. Starting with Eastern Bankshares, we found 3 more insiders buying the stock on top of 2 other insiders that had bought the stock the week before. This was the first ever purchase for all of them and the first time we found multiple insiders at Eastern Bankshares buying the stock at the same time. The stock has also started moving in the right direction. Even though it's flat over the last 6 months, it started picking up here over the last 1 month. Another company with a bunch of insider buying is Eastman Chemical. An executive vice president joined in on the buying, which brings us up to 11 insiders buying the stock in the last couple of weeks. This is particularly interesting because not only have we never seen group buying before here at this company, but there's literally never been any buying at Eastman Chemical before, and all of a sudden 11 insiders are buying the stock after it's down about 25% in the previous 6 months. These insiders have a history of timing their sales well, so we'll see if they do a good job timing their buys too. And we have more insider buying at Resideo Technologies, which is a stock you've heard me talk about quite a few times since we found CD&R Channel Holdings starting to buy the stock a few weeks ago, right before earnings, and they're now up over 10% on those purchases. Just this week, we had CD&R Channel Holdings buying more of the stock, and another insider joined in on the buying with $1 million purchase by another director. This director has a very good track record of buying the stock. They bought back at the end of 2019 and in the middle of 2020, and the stock more than doubled in the next year after both those trades. And they also bought at the beginning of this year, and the stock is already up over 50% since then. Another reason I like these insider trades is that it fits one of my favorite types of insider buying, which is thematic insider buying. The Trump administration came out last week talking about how they might need to do something to subsidize the housing industry. This company is in the housing industry. You now have insiders buying. So you got a nice pair of potential thematic play with the Trump administration plus insider buying. Could be very interesting. And now for the sales, we'll start with Frontier Group Holdings, where the CEO sold $3.55 million of the stock in an unscheduled sale. It's his 6th largest sale out of 21, and in his previous sales, the stock has fallen an average of 40% in the next 3 months. The stock is up 50% in the last month, and 4 other insiders joined him in selling the rip. This next insider sale is one that I told myself was the type of sale I'm going to stop mentioning so frequently because it's very hard to time sales in high momentum, very popular stocks. But here I go doing it again. This is Affirm Holdings, which is up over 50% in the last 3 months. It's notable because the CEO, Max Levchin, just started a 10b5-1 plan for the first time ever and already sold over $50 million of the stock. The chief accounting officer also turned on a 10b5-1 plan, and the only other time she had a 10b5-1 plan on was at the end of 2021, and the stock fell over 90% in the following year. Now, these are 10b5-1 sales, so they were planned ahead of time, and I expect them to continue to sell the stock, but I do think it's notable that they decided to turn on those plans right now, especially when you start to worry about maybe the economy and the consumer getting a little weaker. If that happens, obviously a firm could be in quite a bit of trouble. And lastly, we have another company where insiders are selling the pop, with 4 insiders at Wheels Up selling the stock after its 100% returns in the last month. 2 of those insiders have never sold the stock before, and the other 2 have timed their previous sales pretty well. For the chief sales officer, the stock has fallen an average of 25% in the 3 months following their sales, and for the director, the stock has fallen an average of 50%. Find all the top insider trades at CEOWatcher.com.